Hey, welcome to the Business Beauty Network podcast where business meets beauty. I'm your host, Brandy Taylor. Welcome. I'm super excited to have you here. We have an awesome episode in store for you. I've been in this industry for over 16 years, and it is my goal to bring thought provoking conversations from business and beauty professionals to help us grow our business and expand our minds. And as I would say, it's not just lipstick, it's business. So we mixed in a little fun and we drop episodes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can also subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to your podcast as well. So make sure you check us out there and listen to it and subscribe there. Also, click the bell in YouTube so that you don't miss an upload. You also want to make sure that you check out our podcast on our website at businessbeautynetwork.com. You can email us at hello@businessbeautynetwork.com. We are super excited to have you a part of this community. And here is today's episode. Hey, welcome to the podcast. It is your host, Brandy Taylor. And we have an awesome guest today, Doneesha Johnson. Welcome, Doneesha.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on. I'm super excited to have you on a podcast today. But before we learn more about you and your business and the awesome things that you're doing, tell us something about yourself that most people would not know.
I would say most people probably don't know that I am a singer. So I have this extra talent that goes along with, all of the skills that I am trained in regards to the beauty industry. But I sing a lot. I've sung for different gospel recording artists, and I sing on the worship team. But most people that are not in my inner circle, they don't know that I'm a singer.
Oh, okay. Can we get a little something?
I don't know about that now.
Oh, dang. I tried. But I love that. Thanks for sharing. I was in a choir for many years
Okay.
and sang in church. And a lot of people don't know that about me as well. So thanks for sharing.
Okay. Yes.
So I know you're an esthetician and you've been in the industry for a while. Tell us how your beauty story, how did you get into this industry?
So I started out as a medical assistant working for a dermatology office. I literally was there for the first office that I started out with. I was there for 9 years. Absolutely loved skincare. Just loved the office that I worked for. At the time, I ended up, my husband and I, we were pregnant with my son, and I had to go on bed rest because I was high risk. And so I was off the whole time that I was pregnant with my son. But then after that, how us mothers, maybe we want to spend more time with our child. And I wanted to kind of create another avenue for me to be able to do that, but still be able to work as well. So after that, I went and I taught medical assistant for a little bit of while, and it still was not enough flexibility for me, especially for me to have a newborn there with me. So what I decided to do was kind of research about estheticians, the program, how long the program was. I researched on salary and, different things like that, different areas that you can branch out into being an esthetician, like makeup artist and body contouring and different things like that. And I went and I got the training. I became licensed, and I stepped into the field from that point forward.
Awesome. So now that you are an esthetician, what would you say is your specialty and that you love the most?
I think I love, because I do lash extensions too. So I'm certified lash extensionist, but definitely the skincare side of it is more of my passion. I like seeing when clients they come in with an issue and then their skin is transformed. Or I'm a certified acne specialist as well, and so some of the clients that I have that come in, they have suffered with acne and it has affected their self-esteem for years. And they've tried so many different things, so many products, but yet and still nothing has really helped them. So I like seeing how when they start out, they don't have that confidence. And then at the end of the journey, which it is a sometimes a long journey, but at the end of the journey, they feel better about themselves because they have that clear skin.
Okay. Now, from my experience, as an esthetician myself, I did
Yes.
lash extensions for years, so we
Okay.
do have a lot in common. But from my experience, it was really hard in the beginning after getting out of school, building,
Yes.
and just really figuring out. Like first, I tried to work in a spa to do like facials and stuff, but that really
Hmm.
wasn't my thing, and they didn't
Hmm.
have the clientele, and I didn't know how to build it at the time. So how did you go about like just really building your business? And then, like I see that you've taken several trainings and you've enhanced your
Yes.
skills. So like just kind of take us along your journey. How did you go about building and getting to where you are now?
So it was kind of a difficult thing. I know a lot of people feel like some people they come out and it's kind of like an overnight success. That was not my story. I really had to build strategically, kind of build my business. But the I would say the first thing that kind of helped me was to determine who I am and what I wanted to provide. There's so many that are in the industry, and if you have your mind or your eyes focused on what someone else is doing, you can miss the mark on what makes you successful. So I started out, and I started out solely just me by myself. When I first started out as an esthetician, I worked up under a chiropractor. I was very, very new, didn't know a lot about building clientele. I did have her as the support, but I didn't really understand the hustle that I needed even back then. And so, though time progressed, I kind of like left that job, but there still was passion in me to want to do it. And I think I needed to leave because it put me in a position to where I was by myself and I had to depend on myself in order for me to make it happen. So after I kind of left that, I kind of regrouped and kind of focused. What do I want to do? What is my niche? What area I want to target? What area do I want to work from? I focused on networking groups a lot. I kind of mastered how to network, who to network with. I wasn't really into the whole social media thing at the time. I just didn't, it just wasn't really my platform. The majority of my clientele has built off of word of mouth. I would probably say now it's changed a little bit more because I use social media a little bit more. But in the beginning, I would say about 90% was word of mouth of me building my clientele. So really just that push and that hustle to just continue, because a lot of times you feel like giving up, and it is a struggle, but you have to stay focused on what you do, what your goal is, set your goal, prioritize, and really work towards it.
I like what you said because you said that you really had to figure out what you wanted and
Yes.
what you enjoy doing.
Yes.
And wow, if you think about like the whole thing of being an entrepreneur, a
Hmm.
lot of time, like if entrepreneurship is like so that you could do what you love, right? You can do
Yes.
what you want to do, you can do what you
Hmm.
love. But I find oftentimes in the beauty industry, oftentimes a lot of beauty professionals are not doing what they love to do. They're doing what they see everybody else doing. They're
Yes.
doing what they feel they have to do,
Hmm.
but they're not really they don't feel that they can do what they truly love to do.
Right.
And I don't know why that is. Why do you think that is? Do you think that people maybe think that it won't be accepted or what, the situation is with that? But I see that a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is not being accepted, afraid to kind of like step out of the box. But one thing that I've noticed with a lot of, especially in our industry, the ones that stand out are the ones that are doing something different. And I think a lot of times we fear, that we won't get the clientele because this is so different, or people are not going to be drawn to me, or there's not really a market for what my niche. But in my experience and what I've seen, and just from other people, is people will draw, you'll draw your tribe. They talk a lot about a tribe of people that are kind of like drawn to you. And
Mhm.
if you are your authentic self and you put yourself out there, the right people will be drawn to you. And I'm a firm believer of that. So
Mhm. I believe that as well. I absolutely wholeheartedly agree with that.
mhm.
And another thing too is I think it's like if you even like your esthetician, but even esthetician cosmetologists, their license can go so many different ways, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I think sometimes when you're getting in the industry, it's natural to try a variety of things to see
Hmm.
what really fits. And that's good. Like when you first get out of school and you really don't know, it is, great to like really figure out what it is that thing for you because it's going to be something like because everybody is not drawn to
Yes,
the same thing, everybody's not good at the same thing, right? So what is it that you're good at? And I think when you really figure that out, then you could go that way. But it can be scary when you see everybody else doing other things. Or sometimes even niching down, people think like, well, if I only offer this, then I'm gonna lose all the money. Like
yeah.
nobody's gonna come to me. I'm gonna be narrowed down. But actually, oftentimes people that specialize they actually
Mhm.
attract more clients. They become more known as the expert,
Mhm.
and they find that people, trust them because they're known for,
For that
skincare.
specific
They're known
thing.
for lash extensions, or they're known
Yes.
for hair extensions, or they're known for, whatever it is that they do. So I love that, and I think it's a learning curve for a lot of beauty professionals because there's like so many things you can do. Like you're, especially as a cosmetologist, you can do a lot of stuff. you know.
Yes. Yes.
So sometimes you think
You
you have
know,
to do all of it, but you don't.
I kind of heard a story, and I think it was in regards to Subway. Subway, if you notice, Subway, they specialize in subs, and a lot of other restaurants, they have all these different items. But when I want a sub and I want a good sub, then one of the main places that I think about is Subway. So, and it's the same in the beauty industry. It's okay if you want to tap into a variety of things, that's okay as well. But it's nothing wrong with specializing in one area. Like you said, if I know someone specializes in something, then I want to go to that person because I know they can give me the results, and they specialize in it. So yes,
Yeah,
agree.
definitely. So you have grown your business, and that's
Mhm.
I'm telling you that's quite something to say. I know you teach other entrepreneurs how to get to six figures. And six figures is a big thing in the beauty
Mhm.
industry because a lot of people in the beauty industry are not making six figures.
Yeah.
Because some people say, well, why do everybody say six figures? And I'm like, well, if you look at like on the average income
Mhm.
of beauty
Mhm.
professionals, it's very low.
Right.
Hairstylists in America, it's like you what 20, 30,000 a year.
Yeah.
Estheticians is pretty much about that as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when you say that like you're making six figures, it's a big deal. What do you think? Like, I want you to give me like, what do you think are the top three things it takes to build a six-figure business?
Ooh, wee. Top three. um, I definitely would say consistency. Consistency is extremely big. And I can say that even coming from experience, like I quit probably about two or three times before I got to this point. So definitely consistency in what you're doing. It makes a huge difference. I think that also a team of support is vitally important. I would not have been able to get to this point if I didn't have a great circle of people. And when I mean a circle of people, you need that to be on a professional end, and then personal. And then I'm a very spiritual person because I believe in God and I believe that God is the foundation of the success that I have so far. But you need that support spiritually as well. So your support system is everything because when you want to give up, you have all three of those. Professionally, you have someone telling you from the business side of, supporting you, telling you what you need to do, and then you have that personal, you have that family. They see the other side of you. You're not always in boss mode. They get a chance to experience that other side. So, and then also the spiritual side for me as well, because I need my mind together. I need that peace. I need that joy. Because entrepreneurship, it really, you go through ups and downs, highs and lows. And then third thing, let's see. Third thing, I would say a plan. Plan and goals. You want to plan where you want your business to go, and you want to strive to achieve those goals. So definitely a plan.
Mm-hmm. I love those. I always talk about, consistency is the key. I always say that you never fail unless you quit. That's when you fail,
That's
is when you
true.
quit.
Yes.
So you got to stay consistent because I think that has been the thing that has helped me, in my career, is just the fact that I had just keep showing up, right?
Yes. Yes.
Consistent, keep showing up and everything. And then like support system can be hard though for some people, because I want to talk about that, because sometimes you hear people say that they don't get support. And I remember,
Right.
sometimes people didn't necessarily understand because they're
Hmm.
what I do, because I kind of do a lot of stuff and I'm
Right.
entrepreneurial and hustling and grinding. So the everyday person that just works from 9 to 5, nothing against that, but they may not always get my grind.
Right.
So
Right.
what I found is that sometimes if you don't have it in your family, you don't have it in your current friends, sometimes you have to network up. So maybe network with
Absolutely.
people that are in a position where you're trying to be, and start connecting with people. And if you don't have, like you said, your your social group, your
Yes.
your religious, your spiritual group,
Yes.
whatever you connect, find that. Don't
Yes.
allow that to be a hindrance. If that's what
Hmm.
you need, find that. Put yourself in a position to get that. Because I hear that sometimes people say they don't have support, but
Right.
it's millions of people in this world. You can connect with people, you can network, you can find people who will support you. Sometimes
Yes.
the best people that supported me was people that didn't even know me or know nothing about me. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are right. You're right. It's funny that you say that because I agree with you 100%. If you don't feel like um networking is about relationship. And if you don't feel like you have that support, then get out and network so that you can build a relationship with someone who can kind of provide that type of support. I was literally at an event last night and there was one girl who was there, and she's an entrepreneur, and she was just telling me how she's isolating herself and she feels like she doesn't really have the support. And my thing is sometimes we want support to come from certain people, but it doesn't always come from, those people, or, others may be placed in your life to be that support system. So sometimes we have to just open up our eyes a little bit and open up our minds to receive whoever God sends into your life at that time to be that support system.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I think just being open to that, and
Yeah.
like sometimes it's not like you said, it's not going to come. If your mother has never been supportive of what you do, maybe she never will. You just have to love her anyway,
Right.
right?
Right.
But
Right.
you could definitely connect with people, and
Yes.
probably sometimes we are so concerned about what we don't have that
Mm-hmm.
we fail to see what we do. You
Yes.
know? So sometimes we have the people around us that are willing to support us, but we're looking at it from,
Yes, a different angle.
coming from here. So I
Mhm.
love the way you said that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a good one too. So I know you are helping, entrepreneurs. I love how you say go from employee to entrepreneur. And I know
Yes.
you have a whole boot camp about that.
Mhm.
So I want to kind of dive into that as well. Like, like kind of tell you, like, how do you go from employee to entrepreneur? And like,
Yeah.
what's your whole thing? Like, give
The
me some extra.
transition of it. Well, so I designed this boot camp because I felt like with entrepreneurs, that's one of the hardest things, that transition from um, from employee to full-time entrepreneur. Um, so in the boot camp, it's really designed to just kind of change our mindset first and foremost, because a lot of times we're so set in our ways and so set in our thinking that we haven't even thought beyond um, our state that we're in right now, and you can't see past, like, we have that goal but we don't really know how to get there.
Mm,
So I really deal with, first and foremost, we have to change the mindset. You have to believe that you're an entrepreneur, you have to believe that you're a boss, and then we kind of work on, and every business is different. I know it took me a while for myself to go from employee to full-time entrepreneur. And I even had to work another job just in transition until I can get to that full-time status. So every business is different. But what I usually do is just like take each individual business and we kind of set a plan as far as what's the best way to transition from working your regular 9 to 5 to being an entrepreneur. And I sit down with them. We go over everything. We kind of prioritize, see where they are, because everyone is different. Some are in their startup stage, and then others have been in business for a while, but they just don't know how to officially, make that launch. With me, it was a little bit different. I'm a little more risky. I did take the risk and just kind of jump on out there. And it was the best decision for me. Not to say that there weren't any obstacles or, trials that I had to face, because I did. But that's what works for me. Now, I know that doesn't work for everyone. So that's why we always like to set up a plan in place to make sure that it's going to be effective, but it doesn't hurt them, in the long run.
mhm. Now, what are, like you said, mindset? I know mindset is a big thing
Mm-hmm.
for people to transition from being an employee to an entrepreneur. And but in addition to just getting your mind right and starting to think like a boss, what are some? Can you dive into a couple of the core things that you feel like
Yeah.
are really key that you offer in this program?
Yep. So one of the things is helping them set up their entities, making sure that their business is, labeled the correct way. We do that. We also strategically set a plan, set a goal for the business, what direction they want to go into, and then prioritize. So when we're setting up the plan, we're really breaking down and kind of analyzing everything in detail to see what their goal is, how we're going to get to that goal, what time frame it'll take to get to that goal. And then as far as like prioritizing to see, a lot of times what we'll do is we know that we need all of these different things. I need the website, I need the social media marketing and all of that. And you may need that, most of us do need that, but to be able to sit down and prioritize to see, what do I need now, what can I get started on now. The other thing is what I'll do is I show them how to network. A lot of people do not know how the correct way to network. So
Hmm.
I show the correct way to network. We do some networking exercises. I also help to plug them with different networking groups, providing different resources so that they'll be able to get the word out, in regards to their business. So we do the networking thing. Um,
Give us some networking tips because I love that. Now, networking is something I started really talking about last year.
mhm.
Um, not that something I started doing last year, but I found that a lot of beauty professionals, like that was a piece that they just didn't do.
Mhm.
So, what would be some networking tips you would give for the beauty professionals that are listening?
So one of the tips is try to get involved with as many groups as possible. So a lot of people, they don't know what type of groups to get involved in. Well, if you have children, you can connect to some of the groups that they have at the school. Um, Different type of, religious groups, if you want to, connect in that aspect. There are so many different groups. I mean, you can Google like networking groups, different meetups that they have. Some are free, some you have to pay for. So that's one tip. But one tip that I would love to give, for if you are actually in a networking group, some people are introverted and they're actually afraid, or they don't know how to start off a conversation or engage in it. One of the things you can do that'll kind of break the ice is when you approach someone or someone approaches you, you want to be natural. You want to don't think about the pressure, but one thing that'll kind of help to break the ice is introduce yourself, compliment the individual. A compliment really does a lot for someone. It opens up that door, and it just kind of makes that person, a little more relaxed. So if you came to me and you said, hi, my name is Brandy, I do this, nice hat. That's going to kind of open me up a little bit. Okay, well, she complimented me. That pressure is not there. So giving a compliment, that's one way to just kind of break the ice, especially if you're an introvert.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think I've been challenging my coaching clients to do it more. Like, so especially now, January is can be a slower month for a lot of the industry period. After the
Yes.
holidays, people try to get back caught up on these bills that they just spend all this money, and
Yeah.
how it goes. So January can be like that. So this is a great time to find events to go to. This is a great time to network and connect with people. And I
Yes.
love that advice you give. Like, you got to think about, like, where is your client? So
Yes.
where is she going? Start showing up to some of those events. Some of the tips I also would give is like, I used to go to entrepreneur summits, different events, because I wanted
Okay.
to work with like corporate women, or
Yes.
women who were successful at, making over a certain amount. So I would go to those types of events because that was my target.
Okay.
And so yeah, I love those tips, and networking is a really big piece.
Yes.
And so I think those are really great tips.
One other tip is, if you're not really good with just like connecting to people naturally, take someone with you that is. I a lot of times will take my mom, or I'll take like another coworker, and they're sometimes a little more outgoing.
That's
And so
different.
they'll get a conversation going, but you have to be aware and you can jump right in along with them. So that helps to break the ice as well.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. Now, that's something
Mhm.
I didn't think about, but that is definitely something different you could do.
Mhm.
For sure, for sure. So, what are you excited about? I know you have your event coming up, and when
Ew.
this airs, the event will probably be taking place, but we can
Mhm.
still kind of talk about it a little bit and what you got going on and what you're excited about right now.
Yes, so I'm extremely excited about this event. So the event is the Six Figure Entrepreneurship and Beauty Business Conference. So this is an event that I have wanted and planned on putting on for a long time. I'm excited about it. There's been a lot of just excitement in the air. But the event is basically to bring entrepreneurs, but also industry professionals together. It is. The event is a brunch, but there's a huge networking opportunity as well. And the intent is for us to intentionally build each other's business. I did an interview actually with Oakland Press yesterday, and the lady, she asked me, she said, why do you want to bring so many people together in the same industry? Don't you feel like that's competition? And I said, that's not the way I look at it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's so much revenue out here. You can help others build their brand and it not affect you. I'm not worried about it affecting me at all. It's more so I want to help others get to where I am. So the main thing that kind of pushed me into this is when I started out, I did not have a lot of help. I figured out a lot on my own. But if I would have had that support system in the beginning, I will be even further than what I am now. So I'm very passionate about helping entrepreneurs and other people in the industry get to this point. But yeah, the event, I'm extremely excited about it, even though this will probably air on that day. This is an annual event, so we will have another one next year. This year is being held at the Marriott. We have some, major people that'll be there. We have some big name sponsors, State Farm, Andrew Smith from Bloomfield Hills. He'll be there. He's actually going to be a speaker, and one of the things about him is he specializes in our industry, and I wanted to bring that element because he specializes in getting us the best results. As an individual, as a business owner, you should protect your business. So he's going to be talking about insurance and the best way to protect your business. We also have Shayna Simone, who is doing her thing in the beauty industry. She is a hairstylist, and she specializes in hair loss. So she was the first person that I brought on as a panelist. I definitely wanted to have her. She's just huge in our industry. And then we also have Dr. Teresa Moore, who is a therapist, and she'll be talking about mental health, balancing life, the business and the family, the ups and downs, highs and lows of running a business. Because, even as individuals, there are a lot of people who deal with depression and deal with the, just the downside of running a business. So we want to make sure that we're providing transparency. I mean, it's not always up. Just because you hit those six figures, it doesn't mean that it's always highs. There are some lows to it, and we want to prepare everyone for that as well.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. That's definitely needed for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't make it this year, make sure you make it next year. But I'm still going to make sure everybody have your contact information. I have your website running past. So if you could share that really briefly, your website and how they could, find out more about you so that they can prepare for next year, definitely. And I know will you be having more events throughout the year? Because it is January.
We have been getting a lot of requests, and there has been a lot. Like, I want to put on another networking event. I've done networking webinars before, but I actually want to put on a networking and branding event. So I'm in the works of talking about that, probably closer to mid to later this year. So we are in the works. I've been doing events for a long time anyway, so they kind of know us for our events. But this year we just kind of wanted to step it up, even more, just to be able to provide that. But as far as reaching me, I'm Doneesha Johnson. You can reach me, or you can go to the website and find out all of our information, stay up to date with all of our events at imovelikeaboss.com. That's imovelikeaboss.com. And then you can follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook. The business page for Facebook is LL Studio and Skincare. And that's if you want to find out anything about our spa services. And then on Instagram, you can follow me at Doneesha J.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Now, before we wrap up, I want to ask you my last three questions I like to ask people that come on.
Okay.
So first is what would you say has contributed to your success thus far in your business?
I have to solely give my credit to God. I do. It's the foundation of who I am. And, I've had to constantly pray about my business, turn it over to God and ask him to bless it. And I just, like I said before, I wouldn't be here if it was not for that. So definitely that first and foremost. And then aside of that, I would say just the hard work, making sure that, that hustle in me is always there. You'll find things that work, and then you'll probably find 5 more things that doesn't work. But to always have a plan, B, and get back up and try again. Most, like you said, we want to quit and just kind of give up, but no, get up and try again.
How do you move like a boss?
So move like a boss to me is just that boss mentality. It's kind of being confident in who I am. It doesn't mean that I think that I'm better than anyone or I'm a diva. That's not what it means to me. But it's more so me knowing who I am, my thought process. When I think like a boss. I think on um, this level of success, this level of striving for the goals, but not only striving for the goals, a boss achieve those goals. So it's more so a mindset. When whatever moves I make, I'm thinking like a boss, I'm moving like a boss.
Okay. So do you have like a favorite book or mantra or, like what's your go-to for motivation?
Um, for motivation, favorite book. One of the books that I love is The Giver's Gain. That's actually a book that I received when I was in a networking group. But it talks about how, especially when you're running the business or you're trying to build or you're trying to network, you want to think about giving more so always than receiving. And I always tell people it's kind of like, well, even in the Bible, talks about how it's better to give than to receive. But,
Mhm.
I always give this demonstration that if your hand is open and you have things going out and it's freely open, you're going to freely be able to receive things as well. So the giver's gain is really, really big for me when I am networking, or when I'm amongst a group of people, or when I'm even connecting. My mind frame is how can I help that individual? It's not always just about what I can receive, but it's more so how can I help that individual to be be more of what they want to be as well. Yeah.
Now, what would you say is your favorite tool that you use for your business that you can't live without?
My phone.
Other than your phone, come on, what's up? Or app, or something we gotta know.
Okay, so my phone and um right now you said the app I use I it's so I mean Canva,
Okay.
that's a great app.
Yeah, Canva is a good one.
Yeah,
I don't think I could
but
live without Canva right now. Yeah, I agree with that one.
yeah, because you can just do so many things. And if you don't have like which I do have a graphic designer, but honestly, sometimes I'll just pick up and I'll just do things myself, and I love Canva. But let me just say on the really sincere business side of it, one of the systems that I use is Square. And I absolutely love Square because it streamlined it for it to be very simple for me. It's not just the appointments, but it's also the POS system, the payroll system. So that's just kind of a tidbit for anyone who is looking for something and they're kind of like overwhelmed with so many of the other processes and system. That's probably something that I honestly cannot live without right now.
Yeah, I use Square as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that is sure. Well, it has been absolutely great having you on the
Thank
podcast.
you for having
Uh,
me.
yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing everything with us. Do you want to share anything else with us before we go?
No, I think I'm pretty much all set. It was such an honor. I absolutely love your podcast.
Thank
I had a chance to listen to a couple of the episodes, and I absolutely love what you're doing. It's definitely needed in our industry. I love the professionalism that you portray and everything. So, yeah, I'm just thankful that you actually reached out for me to be on.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon after this.
Yes, can't
So
wait.
Doneesha Johnson, everybody, I'll have all of her information in the show notes. Make sure that you connect with her at imovelikeaboss.com. As always, stay great, and we are out. Bye.